Good evening, everyone. At this time, I will call to order the regularly scheduled committee meeting for the Village of Midlothian, Wednesday, September 21st, 2022 at 7 p.m. Roll call, please. Clerk Moskal.
Trustee Burbette? Here. Trustee Caveney? Trustee Crowley?
Here.
Trustee Hilly?
Here.
Trustee Johnson?
Here.
Trustee Killily? Here. Mayor LaRue?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I will open the floor to public comment. Is there any public comment tonight? We'll go front row first. Rita?
Okay. I've brought this to the attention of the board once before. What is with the corner, the southeast corner of 147th and Kildare?
He tells us that it is decorative native grass, as in it's part of his landscaping. And
That includes all the trash that's in it?
I don't know about the trash. I just was working on the tall grass, but we'll have to work on. I'll get on the trash. So,
Yeah, it looks terrible.
yeah. Anything else?
Oh.
All right. Yes, sir.
Evening. I just have a couple of questions. I called an officer over Saturday about the semi-tractor, and we had a little discussion there. He was explaining to me about federal transportation rules, about the driver's time and how many miles, which we were aware of. But my question is, the village has an ordinance that prohibits the vehicle to be parked. Does the federal government supersede that? In other words, he can drive in front of my house and decide to take a nap for 8 hours and then continue on his way. I just wonder what kind of, we have an ordinance like that covering that. And the other thing is, do we have an ordinance for parking regulations? I don't know, in my area, I have cars parked half on the easement right away and 70% of their vehicles in the street. You know, they're not over the sidewalk, but, and you have to zigzag around some of these things because some are 2 feet outside the curb, they're not within the curb. And I'm just curious about, do we have any kind of protection for that in our ordinances?
I could address some of that, plus I've answered your questions from last week.
Okay.
So you brought up a number of things last week. We had the commercial vehicle parked in the driveway, which would be the semi that you're speaking of. They had a storage container in the driveway. And then you listed a license plate for a vehicle that you believe was inoperable. The vehicle, the very first day that we went to go check for it, was gone. That was to show that it was inoperable. You didn't mention to make contact with that and didn't find any violations on it other than it was an older vehicle. So no ordinance against driving an older vehicle. He did have a container in his driveway, just a little bit in front of the property line. Our ordinance does say that any containers have to be to the rear of the property line. He was given a notice of violation with a copy of our ordinance saying that that needs to be moved. Okay? So he has, I believe that it's either 15 or 30 days on that, I don't know. But we'll follow up that, see if he's in compliance or we'll go to citation. The commercial vehicle, we do have a ordinance that says no commercial vehicles are to be parked on the side streets or in driveways. The individual that he spoke with is our truck enforcement officer, who is very versed on state and federal regulations when it comes to trucks. And he did bring it to my attention as well, that while our ordinance prohibits that, they are allowed to deviate 1 mile for food and rest.
Okay.
Now, there are time prohibitions on there for food and rest, not to park in your driveway overnight. So he made contact with that resident and put him on notice that he didn't know what his intentions were or how long the vehicle was being parked there. Gave him a copy of our ordinance, gave him a notice of violation, that if it shows that it's being parked there overnight or for extended periods of time, outside of what the federal regulation allows, it will be cited in the future.
Okay.
I can't speak specifically, I'm sure the attorney will kill me if I do, about individuals receiving citations, so I won't say which one specifically, but one of the things that I wanted to put you on, kind of everyone on notice, because I know it builds up frustration about what is getting addressed, what doesn't get addressed, things that are recycling in town. So, one of the complaints that you brought up, one of the residents has been issued 7 parking violations, 5 local ordinance violations over the last few years. 3 of which have gone to collections. So kind of to my point of, we're only allowed to cite. Unless it's a health or safety issue, you can't go on people's property and just start moving stuff. Okay?
Right.
We try to make them in compliance, and citations usually take care of that. So unless something were health or safety, we can't go on the property and remove it. If it is health or safety and it's on their property, we have to put them on notice, and we have to give them 30 days before we can go on. I know it's an extended time, we're not going on the property unless it's over 30 days, okay? So that's kind of one of the things I wanted to, because I know it gets frustrating that, again, I brought this up last week, it doesn't appear that anything was, the guys around it, sometimes the public does bring to our attention things that we weren't aware of, and we appreciate that, but I don't want you guys thinking that we're not on top of things or we're not taking your complaints seriously.
We clear something up. I never thought of that, but like you say, you get a little frustrated, especially when they start speaking French to you and sign language. I hold back, I'm not gonna go into it anyway.
That's what you got us for.
Right, that's why I have your number, you all know. The other question is, inoperable vehicle, how many days if it isn't moved?
So that's kind of thing, that's something that we have to see for ourselves.
Okay,
We try to keep the complainants out of stuff as much as we can, but it is something that we'll have to see ourselves. So if we drive by and we see that, we check on it for a week that the car is not moving, but it's simply not moving isn't a violation in itself. It has to be something along with that, flat tires, broken windows, something along those lines.
Open springs.
Something along those lines to show that, that a car likely is not moving, you know what I mean? And then we'll attach a tow sticker. If it's on the streets, 15 days. If it's on private property, it's 30 days before you can remove it.
Okay, the credit to the police department, Officer Eber, I think his name, very professional. I'm not just saying that to pacify anybody, but I appreciate that. I know it takes time. I'm a patient guy. I've been coming in here about 6 months now, so I'm pretty patient with everything. Okay, I much appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Dean?
Oh, yeah,
If I have to start calling on you to get up, I'm gonna stop. If I have to start calling on you to get up to talk, I'm not gonna call you and get up.
okay. I'm just tired tonight. All right, out in front of the village hall, in the middle of the street, I swear today when we were driving down Pulaski, there was like this little hole, and it's between the railroad tracks and 149. And I swear I saw it like metal. So if somebody could check that out, that would be good. I have no problem calling the county to come and fix stuff because Jack gave me the direct phone number one time.
You weren't supposed to
Oh,
tell
I'm
everybody
not
that.
supposed to tell anyone. But I have no problem calling them, but I thought I'd let you guys know first. So-
Northbound?
Huh?
Northbound? you
It was southbound. Going southbound.
said? All right.
And I swear, because we're in a pickup truck now because my car is dead. And
Apparently
when
our
I
phones
looked,
are all up.
I swear I could see like metal, like rebar.
Could be rebar, yeah. All right, we'll get on it.
Okay,
Annoying.
We'll
thanks.
get the county on it.
Your turn, Sandy. I gotta hold up.
3 minutes.
I'll do quick then. If you have not received your copy of the fall brochure for the Park District, you can stop by and get one, or go online and check out all the good programs. There is a new program for seniors called the Golden Club. It's on Mondays from 10 a.m. to noon. 55 and older, it's $1 per visit. They're gonna have coffee, some activities, I think crafts and things, and you get to know some other seniors in the community. So we welcome everybody to check that out. Garbage cans for the village, the blue ones. Were those donated by Republic? No,
No,
we paid for those. So do they have Republic on each garbage can?
I haven't got that close to look at them.
I think they do,
Okay.
or at least some of them do. Can we, if we paid for them, can we make them look a little bit better? Maybe do like a wrap? I know some other towns do wraps on like their electrical boxes and things like that. Is that something that would fall under the beautification committee, the village?
I can check with Joe and we can see what,
What's
It's up to Republic to keep it up.
yeah, you're asking for it, like, just so it doesn't look like a plain blue can.
Yeah.
Something decorative.
Yeah, something decorative. Burger King, what is Burger King doing with that building? Do we know?
Trustee Caveney, are you here with us now?
Yes, I am.
All right, let the record reflect that Trustee Caveney is attending the meeting via telephone. And has the building department received any interest or update on the Burger King site?
No, as far as I know, we have not received anything on the Burger King site, but I will follow up with Mark tomorrow. We did receive word, however, that Popeyes is going to be remodeled, closed and remodeled. In fact,
Awesome. That was my next question.
Okay.
And how often does the health inspector, we don't have a health inspector, we contract a health inspector, correct?
Correct.
okay, I'll answer that. Tom Myatt, who is our village health inspector, has retired. However, when he is available, when he is in town, he has been doing health inspections for us. So the village is not missing out on not having a health inspector at the time. Tom is covering all health inspection requirements, and when he is out of town, we do have another person who will do inspections in his absence if need be. It happens to be the woman who sponsors Tom through the state to do the inspections.
Okay, great, thank you. And are we gonna contact Burger King and find out what their intention is?
I will follow up with the building department tomorrow and find out what's going on with Burger King.
Okay, great. All right, that's it. Thank you very much. Oh, and thank you. The new bushes in front of the village sign look much better now that you can read village.
I walked through there today and there's some that he missed, so
Yeah.
I might just bring my clippers home.
Yeah.
It was, I'm not OCD at all, but I'm like, oh, God. Okay, Tula, got anything? No? Jason? Okay, cool. Then I will close the floor to public comment and move on to trustee business. Trustee Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. On my agenda tonight, I have approval of the revised service agreement with PSN. We discussed it last week. This is the additional add-on to our current contract in order to charge transaction fees for payments made online. The cost to the village in the first year will be $662.40. That includes $250 for a terminal. Annually, we will have to pay $89 for a security compliance fee. Monthly, we will pay $22 a month for the gateway. We will pay $4.95 for the terminal gateway, for a total of $662.40. After that, it will be a total of $412.40. So I'd like the board to make I'd like to make a motion for the board to approve the service agreement so that we can order the extra terminal to begin processing.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Clerk Moskowitz.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Hilly?
Aye.
Trustee Burbette?
Aye.
Trustee Caveney?
Aye.
Trustee Crowley?
Aye.
Trustee Killily?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
And my second item of business is, and Mayor, you'll be quite happy, this is it. This is the last section of the HR policies.
What?
What?
I thought there was like 10 sections.
Well, we were so efficient in the first three that some of the things that were in section 4, we took care of in the other sections. So this is regarding personnel files, record retention, which I'm not, for some reason I feel like we do have one, but I put it in here. Work performance evaluations are the 3 policies. And then I also wanted to bring to the board's attention that on board docs, we have a disciplinary policy that was approved on January 24th of 2018, personal appearance policy that was approved on January 24th, 2018, and also a hiring procedure policy that perhaps we should review since it is 10 years old. My recommendation is that the policies, if we decide to keep the discipline and the personal appearance policy, should all be in the same manual and not be dispersed online through board docs and other places, that we have a centralized location of all policies that relate to employees. Are there any questions?
Would you like to bring up those three on individual basis at committee meetings? And
I can do that if that's the pleasure.
it's always good to
Yep,
look
absolutely.
over old stuff.
Absolutely, and this may be taking, some of these policies may be taken care of with the proposal for the HR services, but I wanted to bring it to the board's attention.
And then,
So I'd like to bring, if everybody's in agreement, I'd like to put this on the consent agenda for next week for the policies that I've noted, and then the following committee meeting, I can bring up the policies that are on board docs that I can review, if that works.
yes, anyone?
That's fine with me.
Okay. Anything else tonight?
Yes, I'd like to thank, on behalf of the events committee, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and supporting the events we had last Saturday, the Oktoberfest. It was wonderful for those that came. I know there are a couple here in the audience. Thank you for coming. Trustee Crowley and I estimated, or at least she did, we probably had 250 people throughout the whole day. It was well attended. It was positive. People gave us great suggestions and ideas for the next one, which we hope to do next September. I'd like to thank our committee members, Jason Decker, Rich Seiner, Barb Vaughn, Debbie Pedrizzo. Without them, we couldn't have made this possible. I appreciate the in-kind donations that we received from our residents, from our businesses. It truly took a village to put this together, and I'm hoping we'll be able to make it bigger and better next year. So if anybody wants to be on the committee, be a part of the committee, have to plan committee. I know Jason has ideas for something to do next spring. We'll be meeting shortly, and this is what the mayor envisioned as an events committee to bring the community together. So thanks for supporting our efforts this first time.
Excellent work by all. It was a very fun event. I got a lot of excellent feedback. And as I briefly said that night, I truly believe that this was the first of many new, unique, fun events for the village and our neighbors. So I want to thank everyone involved.
And if I didn't thank the departments, you rocked. The police department, the fire department, they filled up our barrels with water because we didn't know we needed water. So it was one of their training exercises that cost us nothing. We appreciate Public Works dragging everything out, putting it away, appreciate the front office doing it. It truly took the whole village to put it together, and I'm eternally grateful for everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Burback.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hey, Clerk Moskowitz, could you slide your phone over on the desk so I can hear Trustee Burback?
If I had a 12-foot cord, I could, sure.
You're next to him.
Yes, there.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 6 items tonight. Somehow I suspect Mr. Decker contacted Chief Hotwagner and asked him to give me some stuff to do. We recently received our new pickup truck, and several of the items are different forms of outfitting the pickup truck. The basic outfitting is a $9,249.86 charge. The graphics are a $900 charge. The computer and dock is another $29.91. And that completes the pickup truck outfitting. These are all budgeted items, by the way. Then we get into the remodeling of the fire department. These are projects that were budgeted, and
Can I step back?
Yeah,
And
go ahead.
just note that the outfitting of the new pickup truck is all done by Public Safety Direct. Is that correct? Okay. Public Safety Direct.
as opposed to PDS, which was the
Well,
other one.
what-
There's
yeah.
PSD and BDS.
And what about CDS? Was the bill for CDS, is that for the product and not the installation? Is that what I'm looking at?
No, CDS is that one is for the laptop docking station, that's a separate bill.
That's just the equipment, that's not the installation? Okay.
Right. The installation's on the first bid.
On the other one with PSD?
Right.
Okay.
So CDS Office Technology will be providing us with the Tough Book and docking station for the Tough Book. Sorry, just wanted to be clear.
Okay. Next, we move on to the items regarding the remodeling of the fire department. We have multiple quotes for that, starting with $50,133.16 for the bunk room, which is $19,100 for the building of the custom lockers, $19,805 worth of carpentry, and $11,228.16 worth of materials. That is the construction part of it. We also have an air handler and an AC unit that needs to be replaced. My understanding is that is the original unit from when the bunkhouse was built back in the 50s. The air handler is a grand total of $43,045. It is $19,655 for the handler, plus, oh, I'm sorry.
No, those separate bids.
Yeah, that's separate bid. The next part is the light and electrical. That's $9,872. As I said, those are all budgeted items. If there's any questions.
The only question I had was, do we, because it's for a complete remodel, do we have to go out to bid for these?
Well, we went
So
out
it's the
to
total
bid, we
amount.
bid everything separately, because we're kind of GCing ourselves to save on money. Last time we did that, with Station 2, we found out it was quite double the amount of money when we got it separately, so we're kind of GCing ourselves to save money. We do on the AC bid, had two bids. One bid is for the $19,655. The other bid is from the company that just installed the boiler, and they're at $43,000. So they're really double.
And Nick, that's per our ordinance, we're allowed to do it that way?
Issues what?
We have separate bids for each project. We bid it out separately, all under 20 grand to keep them separate, rather than go out and do a whole.
Are they essential parts of an overall project? Or are they different categories?
They're different categories, but part of one project, different categories. Kind of like we did, the same thing we did with the office area.
Well, if that's the case, then probably it would be best if the village board passed it by the required majority.
Attorney Valdez, I can't hear you.
And it's probably best that the village board pass the ordinance, just to be safe, by the requirements of waiving the out to bid, 20,000 or over, just to be safe. It's just a matter of the board having the supermajority to do that. That way we're safe.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
No.
Is any of this work being done as a result of wasn't there flood damage before? Is any of this work covered by insurance?
Chief Wagner said no.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so clarify me this, the bid from Castle Heating is for what? Replacing the HVAC?
Replacing, yeah, we're taking out the old air handler system, replacing the system with a new air conditioner and furnace. And run a gas furnace in there to handle the bunk room.
And that second bid was for the same job?
The same thing, the only difference I noticed on the two, because we actually gave them requirements, and I walked through with them to go over the bid, is they have a crane under, take the old air conditioning unit out, which is just a home unit, and they also have to run a gas line from the boiler room all the way back to there's gas line there, so there's just a little bit.
Okay, and what was the other item that was sent to bid?
That was just
Or
the air
what-
conditioning part of it.
That was not sent to bid, I should say, that we put out because it was less than 20,000.
Yeah, the air conditioning was one, the electric was $9,000.
Okay, the electric could be a separate bid
And
under
then
20,000.
the actual construction was the, taking out all the old paneling and putting in drywall, raising the ceiling up for all the construction costs of labor. Another one for building the cabinets for the locker area for the bunk room, all the cabinets.
Okay.
And then the materials, which is $11,000.
Okay.
That's how those were working out.
Yeah, I would say the stuff that's directly related to a construction project, to remodeling, would be one set of items that would have to be bid out if it goes over 20. If it's just the electrical, changing the air conditioner, I believe that we can rely that is a separate item.
The electric and the air conditioning.
And the air conditioning, yeah.
Because those are two separate items as well.
And the air conditioning does have two bids, it's just that we can't get them to come out bid and stuff.
It's impossible to be that far apart.
No.
$23,000
That's
far
the way the
apart.
quotes came in.
I know.
He didn't want to do the job, so
Oh, okay.
my belief is that's why they're that far apart. And as far as the
Keep it moving.
construction goes, I'm not sure we can get any other bids.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. There's no way they're $23,000
That's
apart
right. That's why
on
I
the same
looked at-
HVAC.
I
The
looked
crane's
at-
not gonna cost that much anyways.
And the
No.
difference I saw the crane and the gas pipe, that's the only thing I've seen.
It's a rooftop?
Oh, it's a residential rooftop, it's not their
Yeah.
side commercial, that's all it is. So unless there's differences in the actual furnaces that they're providing, with the brand or the names, it's more money, I don't know.
But not to explain that difference. There's only one explanation for that,
You bid to lose it.
yes. Or make it worth his while if he got it.
My shot bid though. That's the only question I have. Anyone else? Okay, how do you wanna handle it?
I'd like to put these items on the consent agenda
And,
for the amounts I discussed.
okay. And for number 4, which is the bunk room carpentry and cabinets, we have to,
There are 3 items, the locker construction, the carpentry, and then the materials. Those are all essential parts of
And
that
how much does
project.
that add up to?
That would be
50,
40, no, sorry, take that back. 38. Yeah, $43,045.
Okay, then we would have to pass that by supermajority of the board to waive the statutory and village ordinance requirement that anything over 20,000 go to bid.
so should we put that item under trustee Burbett's agenda, business, instead of on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we will need a vote
A separate vote just for that,
for that, yes.
and a supermajority to pass.
Correct.
Okay. You got that, Maria?
I'll go over with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else, trustee Burbett?
Nope, I think that'll do it.
That's enough. All right, trustee Hilling.
I had just one item. We have received from the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago the certificate of completion. Is that what we're calling it?
Excuse me, could you slide the phone over my Jack so I can hear?
Can you hear me now?
Maybe phone a little bit.
I received from Superintendent Sperry an email containing the notice given by the MWRD that the construction project has been completed in reference to the creek flood control project on Natalie Creek.
Has everyone had a chance to look at it? Simple. Trustee Caveney, were you able to get the IGA that you were requesting?
Yes, I received the IGA and I would like to have tomorrow morning to finish looking at it to make sure that the language in this letter that MWRD wants you to sign off on is, lines up properly with the IGA they're referencing.
I am fine with that. So can we put it on the agenda? I guess. We don't.
You don't have to decide that tonight.
We need to sign off on the IGA for the rating. So. It wasn't a sidebar, I just sat back.
Yes, we usually would need a board approval for an intergovernmental agreement.
Sign off on it. Okay. You want to put a,
We're gonna need it separately, I believe.
okay.
So you put it under my business on next week.
You got that, Maria? All right.
Oh, that's all I had, sir.
That's all you have? All right, thank you. Here, let me have the phone, we'll pass it down. It's almost like you're here, Kathy. All right, trustee Cavey. Oh, what?
Is it my turn?
It is.
Okay, I don't have anything to report this evening, Mayor, except I do want to remind everybody that the village rain garden, the Rain Ready Community Garden, is going to be set up shortly to have scarecrows installed. And I'm happy to report that I've already received 3 emails from the community for families that would like to install a scarecrow. And I've also received a phone call from our new assistant principal at Bremen High School that the high school students would like to participate again this year. And I'm going to be sending notice out to all the businesses and to all the other community organizations welcoming their participation as well. And want to remind all the departments that we again will have another scarecrow throwdown contest between all the village departments.
I'm sorry you broke up, no one can hear you. Trustee Killily, is it Trustee Killily's turn?
Nice try, Trustee Crowley.
Sorry, the phone's going dead. Anything else, trustee Cavey?
No, sir. Pass the phone to Don.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Killen.
I don't have anything tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Crowley.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple things tonight. First, I sent out yesterday some information on a company called Constant Contact. This is a company that many municipalities use in the Southlands to do an electronic version of a newsletter. They design the templates for each individual village, and then the villages can pretty much drag and drop things into the template and use them as electronic newsletters and notifications and social media posts. So I've been kind of watching some of the different municipalities that use this, and it seems to be pretty good, and it's very, very reasonable. The price I got quoted from the rep was less than $1,000 a year for the service. They also organize and, I'm sorry, Kathy, what? They also organize and keep our emails in groups so that we can have contact groups, things like that. They gave me a temporary login as a trial basis to use it, so I'm going to share that with a few of the departments and have them play around with it and see what they think of it. But it sounds like for the price of less than one mailing, if we still wanted to have printed versions available, we could certainly have some of them printed and available for residents who would like them mailed to them. They could call and notify the village, or we could have some available at the different department doors so that people who wanted something in writing could get it. But it almost sounds like it's going to be a viable option for us to be able to electronically do monthly or quarterly emails and get additional information out. So I did send some information to the board on that. Like I said, I'll share the login information with a few of the departments and have them see how they like it. Did anybody have any questions or concerns about that?
Nope, Sandy, I've used it years ago. It's a great tool to communicate, and basically it's just a drop and drag. And this way you're saving a lot of money, but you're getting your word out in a professional looking manner. It's great.
If anybody wants to take a look at one, example you can look at is Tinley Park uses it. So I have talked to a few people at Tinley Park as well who love it and say it's very easy and, you know, it's really a cost saver for small municipalities.
I'm pretty sure the Park District uses it,
Yeah, I think they do, and I think the library uses it also.
and I'm told that it works well, and,
I use it at my job, and it's great.
So I'll be moving forward that, you know, after our trial expires to get board approval if everybody likes it and if it works out. We will have to start a campaign to make sure we have accumulate as many emails as possible because the whole principle behind it is to keep costs down by not having to do mailings and things like that. So if no one has any questions about that, I'll let everyone know once the department heads take a look at it and see how easy it is for them to use. Next, we had on August 24th, I had on my agenda for discussion our noise ordinance. I asked that everybody take a few weeks and review it. Chief Delaney and I have been reviewing it. There are some questions, and I don't want to bog the meeting down with going over the highlighted areas that I have, but some of the questions regarding the noise ordinance are times and flexibility in the ordinance. So I'm going to put this on the agenda for approval, not necessary. I won't put it on the consent agenda, but if everybody will take a look at that final version that I'm going to put on the agenda for next week, I'd appreciate it, and get back to me if you have any comments beforehand, because I'd like to approve it next week.
Sandy, I do have a question. If it's approved, has any thought been given to how to communicate this ordinance to the village?
Well, it would be a great trial run for our new trial constant contact. But we'll use all the other outlets that we have as well.
Great, because I think it's important. I think we need to educate our residents about this and that this is what this means. I think it's a great idea.
Thanks. The other thing, I spoke to the mayor and Trustee Caveney. As everyone's probably aware, you know, we have had problems with vacant properties around the village. So one of the things that we are in the process of doing is updating our vacant property ordinance. I had a conversation with Attorney Valadez today about some things that I think that we can do, and we'll be moving forward with that over the next few weeks. I hope to have it on the agenda after talking to Trustee Caveney next week for people to start reviewing. That's all I have this evening.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Attorney Valdez.
I have nothing other than what we will discuss in closed session.
And I also including negotiation?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't hear you.
Okay, move her down. Much more than-
Yep.
All right, so you have nothing except for closed session?
Except for closed session.
Okay. Then onto my agenda, I have a few items. First one is Attorney Valdez and I met with Connor Gallagher, One Source, a few weeks back, and I hope you all had a chance to look through their very nice brochure here with all of their services. They are a full-service human resources group that handles employees from start to finish. What I liked about it, it is quite the team they have, but there will be one point of contact for all employees instead of being pushed around from employee, person to person at Connor Gallagher. So there will be one person of contact with a, how she put it, the boss of her that is educated and trained and experienced in all facets of human resources. So if something came up that was they couldn't handle, they'd have a senior here, a senior HR professional. So bottom line, it comes down to this. We have experienced numerous balls getting dropped, things falling through the cracks. You can come up with other cliches. It has cost the village money, quite a bit of money, through lawsuits. The one issue you brought up was not getting a COBRA letter out. I just felt this is a good time to board to think about this and actually move on this. We need this village, and our employees need this, in my opinion. Bottom line, it comes down to about $54,000 a year, and obviously you all know that trying to hire an in-house HR consultant would be a lot more than that, especially with benefits and stuff. So I see it's on here for approval. I wasn't really pushing for approval tonight. I just want everyone on the board to give this a really good thought. Conor Gallagher came across as an excellent firm, and what do you guys think?
I would just say that the difficulty that the village has faced over the last probably 20 years is that the field of HR for municipalities has expanded greatly, as you well know. Every several months we come in with a new legislative requirement for either sexual harassment training, for other kinds of harassment trainings. The bottom line is this: the size of Midlothian, the amount of money that we have in our budget does not allow us to hire a professional to do contract compliance, to do payroll, to do HR, to do all these things that most municipalities have a full-time worker to do because they're larger. We have relied on contracts, and we have relied on the village attorney, not just me, but in the past, to do this, and that is not economically efficient for the village. First of all, you'd have to get an HR attorney. I'm more than capable of answering questions, piecemeal, but at the end of the day, we should have someone who's responsible for keeping a pulse of all of our HR policies, and it's just not economically prudent to have lawyers to bring in lawyers. We should have someone who's SHRM approved or certified, who can do this the way they do it in most corporations and in most larger municipalities.
So I looked at this and I completely 150% agree that we need someone to handle HR. My only two questions with this company were, this company seems to be kind of or at least from what I read, it's they provide these 4 or 5 components, and that's what you pay for. But some of these components we already have other companies that do that. For example, HR payroll. So we already have a payroll system that we use for our employees. The other thing was retirement plans. The majority of our retirement plans are covered by state statute. So I'm not sure what retirement plans cover. Would this be a company that you would think that you guys would want to move forward with this company, or are you just saying a company similar to this? Because this kind of seems more for private.
No, so the first part of this packet was their introduction to us on everything they provide. And as we talked for over an hour, we narrowed it down to what we specifically need is human resources, and that's what the
Okay,
what
so
the quote
this is just that
human
module.
resource- human
Okay,
resource management.
I wasn't sure, because the way it looked like they were saying, this is all the service they provide for one fee, so I
No.
wasn't sure if all those modules were included.
Yeah, we went through all these things with them, and you're right, I mean, a lot of these things we do well, and other groups do it for us, risk management, as you said.
Right.
But this is just for the human resources management service.
Okay.
Mayor, I've got 2 questions.
Okay,
I agree with Sandy. This is a much needed item for the village. 2 questions are we going to have one dedicated person who's going to service the village of Midlothian? So every time we call, we're not talking to a new person. We have to re-explain ourselves over again every time we call. And number 2, is that person going to be spending some time at the village hall, or is this all going to be over the telephone and the computer?
yeah, I did say before, it is one point of contact, one individual at the firm that will be the point of contact for all employees, which we liked. They won't be passed off from person to person at this firm, and yes, they will certainly have to spend quite a bit of time here up front to learn it all and get it all put in place. Once it's put in place, there are many things that can be done online, emails, but I believe they said they would spend time out here at least once a month, once everything's set up.
As
They'll
much
spend
as
quite a bit of time here at the beginning and not as much as everything's set up and running. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But if we need them to be at the village, will they make themselves available to be at the village
Yes.
hall?
Sure.
Yes, absolutely.
We're paying them by the hour.
Pardon?
We're paying them by the hour, so if we want them to come in,
Thought
they
it was a
will.
monthly fee.
No, we're paying them monthly. We're paying them a fee per employee per month. We're not paying them by the hour.
Well, I would have to follow up and then with that specific request. They do have a little notes here about limitations and stuff like that, so I wouldn't know if that's
That's part of my question. I don't want every time we call them and we have an issue and we need to have the HR person in the office to have a meeting with staff about an issue. I don't want every time they need to come, it to be listed under that limitation and we have to pay them $150 an hour to do it. My expectation is if we're gonna pay them per employee per month, that would include a couple of service hours a week, or a few, X amount of service hours a week, or X amount of service hours a month that they would spend at Village Hall if we need them. I mean, if we don't need them, that's fine. But I just wanna make sure that if we need to have them for whatever reason, that they're gonna be available, and that we're not gonna have to be paying extra a la carte fees for that.
I understand. I will ask that specific question and let you guys know.
Okay, thank you.
And I have one last question. We've been exploring time and attendance software. Does this company provide that service?
It doesn't look like it.
And that's what I thought based on this proposal. Is that something we can explore with them? Do they have a time and attendance system that works for a municipality because of the uniqueness of municipalities? And we've been struggling to find one that fits all our needs.
Well, as far as municipal time and attendance, you're talking about like biometric clocks and all that? Is that what we're
Like
talking about?
Sign in and schedule.
Just, nothing, not like a time clock issue? Because it's ultra
We
difficult.
wouldn't, we checked into time clocks, the rental fee on them is just too
Yeah.
expensive. It would be signing in on
That's
the
where I was
computer
going
and
with
stuff.
that.
More of a liability, keeping track of our employee liabilities with comp time and, being able to clock in and clock out, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I have a question, and that would be, is this a yearly contract?
It's a yearly contract, correct? We don't
Okay.
have to do multiple.
We're
years.
okay. One thing about that was, we had this company for our risk broker, and we had problems. So we looked for other people. Now, I don't know, they quote that 96% of retention, which is darn good if that's what they're doing. And the other thing is that we're using some, on our HR policies, we're using some things from IRML. Does that conflict with what they're gonna give us? Because they are talking about policies, things come up, they're gonna inform us about things and tell us that we should adjust our policies, which is fine, that's good. But, IRML has lawyers also that do HR things. Maybe it's the same people. I don't even know.
Well,
Yeah.
I think this is not as much of the employee manual. I'm sure they'll provide that, but I mean, from what I read, it's more of the personnel file and
Well, they're
and
talking
coordinating
about
benefits.
adjusting policies if we need it.
Right.
Alerting us to
Right.
something that's come up,
Right.
so,
They would provide us with information that they've learned through their
Law
networking.
changes.
right. And
But we already told them that we were working on our own policy manual. They would certainly review it and give us any recommendations for amendments or not, but
Okay,
yeah, this is excuse me. Yeah, it's pretty much strictly just HR management services for all of our employees. But yes, they do offer, I'm sure we'll probably start getting newsletters from them too as well. There's a lot of information that they get in their worlds, and I don't, and we don't, so I'm happy with that. Okay, I will get answers to those questions that you asked and get back to you. That's why I didn't want to rush through this, you know, and get it approved tonight. I'm not pushing that. But, all right, thank you all. Didn't get on the agenda, but I really need some direction with Radiate Lodge. You all received the appraisal for the Radiate Lodge property. I'll give you my opinion. I think we have two options. Go out to bid and see what we get, or sign it over to the Park District. So it's my opinion that it is our fiduciary responsibility to at least put it out to bid to see what we get as offers. We do not have to accept any offer, but I think it's good practice that we.
The statute even provides that the village board may base its decision to accept a bid or not accept a bid upon what the proposed development will be.
So
When we put this up for sale, can we do it like for sale by owner, or should we hire a broker to market it and sell it?
I believe it's a pretty statutory practice. We have to actually put it in the paper, right?
Yep.
It's pretty straightforward statutorily. We have to just put it in the paper and see what it, just kind of like we did with the empty lot there on Waverly next to Able Roofing. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So, all right.
Right, but how many offers do you think we're legitimately gonna get if we just put it in the Messenger? Should we put it in the Tribune or the Sun-Times or the Southtown, or?
I'm fine with that. We can get to that once we decide, really can't take a vote because it's not on the agenda, but I guess I'm asking if there's anyone on the board that is opposed to that, and if they are, we will put it on the agenda for a vote next week.
Opposed
I'm not
to
opposed
what?
to it, I agree.
Putting it
with
out
that
to
we
bid
can
to
just
see what we
put
get,
this
what
in
kind
the
of.
newspaper or somewhere.
But based on the statute, we're not held to taking the highest bidder.
We're not.
So if
held to
somebody
take
offered
any-
us $1 million and somebody offered us $100, but we liked what the $100 was gonna do better, we could do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that then.
Yes. If a strip bar owner comes in and offers $1 million, and a developer comes in who wants to develop a high-end restaurant, but, wants the property at a low rate of cost, the board may take that into consideration and go in with the lower bid. It's in the best interest, but the standard is what is in the best interest of the village.
But not obligated to take any offer.
Correct.
Okay.
Are we,
Does the value that's on the appraisal take into consideration the 99-year parking lease?
No, they just did the property, the actual property that Radiate Lodge is on.
So the appraisal's just for the building and the land?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, because technically, if we were serious about wanting to sell that, and we really did want to sell it, marketing it along with the fact that there is realize that we're a couple years into the 99-year parking. I don't know how many years are left. Isn't there like 70 or 75 years left?
A lot.
Okay, that should be an integral part of the advertisement.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna write that down.
I think we need to see the lease. I don't know if we have a lease if we don't operate it ourselves.
We do.
Even if we don't operate it ourselves?
There's nothing in the lease that says this lease is voided if it's sold,
Okay,
so.
okay.
But So I don't hear any dissension, so I'm going to move forward with putting it out to bid. So, what else? I had a bunch of stuff. Great phone call from an investigator from Cook County telling me what a great chief of police we have, what a great police department we have. The words I heard were professionalism, work ethic, attitude, were beyond reproach. And he talked a lot more, but that's the gist of it, and just want to thank you for having that department that I can get those phone calls from. Wonderful phone call from a resident over on the first L Street west of Cicero.
Laporte, Lamont, Laporte,
Yes, one of those.
Laverne, in that order.
I actually sent it to Ms. Harris, and I want to let you know too, just couldn't speak highly enough of the administration department. Bonnie Nyland specifically helped him through a very tough situation, and it's nice to get those phone calls, because I don't usually get those phone calls.
No, you
So,
don't. But I'll relay that to them.
all right. What else? After School Board 228 member Evelyn Gleason paid her visit here to tell us all the great things at Bremen High School, I personally paid a visit to the new principal over there and sat with her for about 45 minutes. And I'm telling you what, Bremen High School's got it going on. They are just, and again, couldn't thank me enough about how great the police department is, and it was really nice. But the school is over 1,500, I think Evelyn might have said it that night, over 1,500 students. It's the highest they've had in so many years. Just doing great things for our students, and it was very very refreshing and amazing what they've got going on there. So I just wanted to put it out there. So.
And can I add to that? So if you came to the Oktoberfest, the signs that thank people for coming, our businesses that participated, and people that volunteered were actually created by Bremen High School's DECA Club. They took my very plain, boring signs that I made and made them beautiful signs. The materials were donated, and I'd like to thank Mr. Todd Strine, who's the person in charge of DECA. He did this in 2 days, and I'm eternally grateful. And as having a son that went to Bremen and is a teacher at Bremen currently, I couldn't concur more that Bremen's a great place.
Thanks. That's enough for me. Clerk Bosco.
I have nothing tonight, sir.
All right, then at this time, I am looking for a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss, was that one you wanted, litigation?
Yes,
Or was it, okay.
litigation and bargaining.
Litigation when an action against, affecting, or behalf of the particular public body has been filed or is pending before a court, and to discuss, I think I have these memorized by now, the collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or the representatives.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are in closed session. There will be no further action following closed session.